Wow, I can hardly believe that we are nearly at the end of November, which means there's only one more month of the year to go. And not only that, but only one more TBR video for me to make before the year runs out. And that makes me really sad because I absolutely love recording these videos. It's one of my favourite videos to record because I'm always excited to see what books I'm going to be putting on my TBR for the month, because I use some TBR jars and also prompt cards to help me make my decisions. So it's a little bit of a mystery for me as well. But I will be back obviously with TBR videos in 2025, and I'm hoping to get some new prompt cards for Christmas, which will shake things up a bit. And of course, I'll be eager to watch my favourite booktubers' end of year wrap-ups to figure out which was their favourite books of the year, and any that I haven't read that really piqued my interest will also be added to a TBR jar, and I'll work my way through those during 2025. Right, so let's kick off then and figure out what I'm going to be reading in the month of December. And I'm going to start with this jar here, as I always do, which is So Many Books, So Little Time. For those of you who haven't watched one of my TBR videos before, I'll quickly explain what goes into this particular jar. So if you have a recommendation for me, you can recommend a book to me either in the comment section of any of my videos, or you can click on a link to a book recommendation form. So if you really want me to read a book, think I'll absolutely love it, then you can fill in a quick Google form. I get those, and then basically I look through them. If I haven't read them before and it's a book that I would like to read, I add it to the list. I write it on a bit of paper and pop it into the jar, and then each month I pick out one of your recommendations from this jar, which I read and then review in my monthly wrap-up. Alongside this jar, I also have a much smaller jar that I normally have, which includes some of my favourite booktuber recommendations, but I only had 11 recommendations in that jar, and so that jar is currently empty. It's waiting to be filled again for next year. So what I thought I'd do is I pick 2 stars out of this jar today and read 2 of your recommendations. So without further ado, I'm going to tip these out and pick a star. I'm going to go for this blue one here, and then unwrap it and see what we get. Okay, so I finally managed to unwrap it. We have got Kingdom Fall by A. Zavarelli, and this has been recommended to me by Horde 10. So thank you so much for the recommendation. In fact, I think you recommended this to me on more than one occasion, and it has also been on my TBR for a while as well. This one is a mafia romance, so I'm really pleased to have picked this one out of the jar. And I'll just hold it up there so that you can see that that is definitely the one that I picked. So Kingdom Fall is part of the Underworld Kings series, of which there are 13 books. And this is a series which is a collaboration between a variety of other mafia romance authors, because each book in the series is written by a different author. So I've only read one from this particular collection before, and that was The Brat Vizier by Jane Henry and Sophie Lark. But like I say, I have had Kingdom Fall on my list for a while. Now this one I believe is a nanny romance, and the blurb says, I was a nanny in need of a job. He was darkness personified. I had little to call my own. He was filthy rich, powerful and dangerous. The assignment was simple, and my goal was to take care of his son, keep my head down when he least expects it, destroy him. It should have been easy. I thought it would be until I looked into his dark blue eyes. Kissing the enemy is a bad idea, but so is falling in love with him. He doesn't know my crumbling foundation is built on lies. When he discovers the truth, I'll find out if he's as brutal as I believe. I came here to steal his life. I didn't count on him stealing my heart. So yeah, like I say, I've been wanting to read that for a while. I love a good mafia romance. Really pleased to have pulled that out of the jar this month. So the next one I'm going to pick up is a green star, and let me unwrap that then and see what we've got inside here. Okay, so we actually have another mafia romance, which is Truth by Trilina Pucci, and this has been recommended by Jessica Brockington. So I'll just hold that up here so you can see that that is the one that I picked. So thank you, Jessica, for the recommendation. Let's take a look on Amazon to see what this one is all about. So this one says it's an insta-love mafia romance, and it's book 1 in the King Brothers series. And the blurb says, Dominic King is a man with secrets, mob affiliations and a life unsuited for love. But what starts as a one-night stand with a gorgeous bombshell named Drew feels like it should become his forever. Dominic is ruthless, powerful and unforgiving, the kind of man who kills without remorse and conquers industries without guilt. But even the devil can be brought to his knees. The moment I saw her, I wanted her, no matter the consequence. We were supposed to be one night, no more. At least that's what I told myself. But seeing her in my club church, the kind for particular tastes, made me want to do dirty things to her and never stop. Then she walked away. It felt as if she'd ripped my heart from my chest, one I didn't even know existed. I warned her I'd never forgive her. She wouldn't listen. She should have known better. If Drew wants my forgiveness, she'll have to earn it, bound at my feet. Because she is and always will be mine, to have, to hold and to own. So this sounds like it may be an erotic insta-love sort of mafia romance. So really excited to give this one a try. It's a fairly old one as well. It was published in 2018, so quite a few years old now. So let me know if you've read this one and what you thought. But I'm also really happy to see it's less than 300 pages, and that's just the kind of book that I like, because it means that I can usually whip through those pretty quickly, tick it off my TBR, and they're usually really sort of fun and quick reads, and I really do enjoy those. So looking forward to that one as well. So thank you, Jessica, for that particular recommendation. Right, next up then I have these set of prompt cards, and so I usually pick one out and then see what book I can pick based on the prompt. So I'm going to give these a bit of a shuffle. I'm going to fan them out here, pick one from here, and it says choose a book which is set in one of your favourite cities. So there you go, choose a book which is set in one of your favourite cities. Now, one of my favourite places to go, and I've been here multiple times, is Las Vegas. So the most obvious book that I can think of that fits with this, and is a book that I really, really want to read and was going to put it on my TBR anyway, so this is perfect, is Twisted Pride by Cora Reilly. So I've just finished reading Twisted Loyalties and Twisted Emotions, and I'm really excited to dive into Remo's story, because this one is about Remo Falcone. So this one, Twisted Pride by Cora Reilly, is book 3 in the Cora Chronicles Mafia series, and the blurb says, Remo Falcone is beyond redemption. As capo of the Camorra, he rules with a brutal hand over his territory, a territory the Chicago outfit breached. Now Remo is out for retribution. A wedding is sacred, stealing a bride sacrilegious. Serafina is a niece of the boss of the outfit, and her hand has been promised in marriage for years, but kidnapped in her wedding dress on her way to church by Remo, Serafina quickly realises that she can't hope for saving. Yet, even in the hands of the cruelest man she knows, she is determined to cling to her pride, and Remo soon understands that the woman at his mercy might not be as easy to break as he thought. A ruthless man on a quest to destroy the outfit by breaking someone they are supposed to protect, a woman intent on bringing a monster to his knees, two families that will never be the same. So like I said, I've really enjoyed Cora Reilly's Born in Blood series. I really wanted to get the Cora Chronicles. I finished books 1 and 2 in this series earlier this month, and I'm really wanting to pick this one up and experience Remo's story for the first time. So very excited to have this one on here. And next up then we have this set of prompt cards as well. So I usually pick one from here, and then use it to select a book that's been on my TBR for a while. And I'm just gonna find these ones out and pick this one. So this one says read a book with a blue cover. So let me see what I've got. Ooh. So I've just had a look through my pile of books I haven't read yet, and none of them have blue covers. So let me go to my TBR list on Amazon and see if I can find one with a blue cover. So I'm just going to flick through. The problem is that a lot of dark and mafia romances have dark covers, right? They're usually black and with a lot of red on them, it seems. So nothing in my mafia romance books. Okay, so I looked through all of my lists on Amazon, and I guess all of the books that I really want to read are just too dark, because most of them had really dark covers, like I said, lots of blacks and reds, but very little blue. And instead of like just randomly searching for a book that I had nothing about, I ended up deciding to pick this book here, Tyrant by Vanessa Waltz. Now, The only blue part of this is kind of the word Tyrant, but I'm basically giving myself a buy on this one. I'm basically saying that is enough to fulfill this prompt. And this is part of the Filthy Rich Villain series. In fact, it's book 2 in the series. I've previously read some other books by Vanessa Waltz that I really did enjoy, and the first book in the series was called Monster, which I do remember liking at the time. So this has kind of been sitting on my TBR as a reminder for me to carry on with this series. So I think this is a good opportunity to go back and just see how I feel about this author now, because it's been a while since I've read her, and obviously I've read quite a lot of other kind of mafia and dark romances since, and this sounds like a hero who's very like controlling and possessive. The blurb basically says, tyrants don't ask for second chances, they seize them. Billionaire Brian Knox is a beautiful menace with his hand over Boston's throat. He's a tech giant, a real estate magnate, and his rumoured connections to the Italian mafia make him the most dangerous man in the city. And he's obsessed with me. I'm just a reporter. I was sent to write a profile on him, but the 30-minute interview revealed a story too dark to tell. I'm terrified of the tyrant, but he fascinates me. His inescapable gaze lashes me with heat. Submitting to his domineering presence fulfills my every dark desire, even though I know giving up control is dangerous. I want nothing to do with them, especially after what he did to me, but I can't stay away. Knox has never wanted anyone until me. He has decided I will be his, and when the tyrant wants something, he gets it. So then we have Knox. I can't let go of indie Starling. They call me the tyrant. As a rule, I don't feel. But that changed when a charming reporter girl stole my attention with her beauty and razor-sharp wit. Now I'm obsessed. I've plans for us, marriage, children, a life together, but she ruined our happily ever after when she refused my advances. Indie doesn't understand our connection. She thought she could run to escape the feelings that confuse her, so I let go of the leash to watch where she'd hide. But the safest place for my future wife is in my arms, in my bed. I expected her to return to me, not the trouble she's caused. She's done something bad, and I'm more frightening than the men chasing her. I can make it all go away, but it comes at a cost. A life for a life. My price is her submission forever and always. Okay, so they're the books I'm going to read based on what I've pulled from the jar and also what I've selected from my prompt cards. After that, I usually include some new releases that are coming up in the following month. Now, the ones that are on my list I'm really looking forward to. The first one is due out on the 3rd of December, which is Keep Me by Sarah Cate. And this is book 1 in the Sinful Manor series. This one says, their marriage of convenience is anything but. All Killian Barkley wants is to be left the hell alone. He's had enough heartache to last a lifetime, and he has no more need for love, earning him the reputation of a broody Scot and eventually turning his famous ancestral home into a den of iniquity. It doesn't take long for tales of his raunchy house parties to reach the rest of his family, inspiring them to hatch a plan to shake Killian out of his routine. New Yorker Sylvie Devereaux is tough as nails. As a daughter of famous yet neglected parents, she's grown a hard shell and keeps everyone at arm's length. So when she sneaks into Berkeley Manor during a trip to Scotland to get a glimpse of a famous heirloom, she doesn't anticipate facing off against the brutish, maddening Highlander who lives there, and she certainly didn't expect to ever see the bastard again. Yet just weeks later, she's approached by Killian's family with a proposal. Move to Scotland and marry Killian to improve his playboy reputation, and after 1 year she'll walk away with $10 million. Sylvie agrees, even knowing that their plan is more deceptive than he realises, but as she grows closer to Killian and the end of their year together, she has to decide, is the love of a good man with a dark soul worth keeping, or is she willing to break Killian's heart now that it's well and truly hers? I really enjoy Sarah Cate's writing. I think she does some really great spicy scenes, and also I love a Scottish hero as well, so really looking forward to this one. Then one that I've really been anticipating is book 10 in the Perfectly Imperfect series by Neva Altaj, which is Sweet Prison, and this one is due out on the 13th of December. So this one basically says, Zahara, is it possible to fall for a man you don't know? Before I saw his face or heard his voice or felt the warmth of his touch, I fell in love with his mind. Devious, cunning, deceptive, the master of deadly and dangerous plans, the silent threat no one saw coming, manipulating people's lives like pawns on a chessboard. When he steps out of the shadows, the king reclaiming his throne, he sets the world aflame and burns my heart to ash. Massimo. After 18 years, I finally got my freedom back. My dark empire was waiting, primed for me to take the reins. I'll punish the traitors who stole my life and make them feel true pain. The era of peace is over. I'm ready to unleash mayhem, but I left one prison only to be trapped again in a battle between conscience and my desire. The one thing I desire above all else I can never have. My sweet angel, my magnificent queen, my Zahara. So this was due to be the last one in this series, but it looks like there might even be an 11th book planned, which is called Precious Hazard, that's due out on the 31st of July next year. So that's unexpected because she's just started a spin-off series as well, which is kind of a next generation series. And so I really thought book 10 was going to be the last one, but it looks like she's going on to write one more. So yeah, I love Neva Altaj. I think every book I've read from her just gets better and better, and so I've got high hopes for this particular one. And then the last one then from new releases that's actually being released at the end of November, so I'm putting this into my December reads, is The Horde King of Shadow by Zoey Draven. This is due out on the 26th of November. So like I say, I won't get to that in November, but I will be looking to pick that one up in December. Okay, so the blurb on this one says, the fearsome creature came from across Drakar's sea, and there was a rider on its back. As a scholar in Dothic's library, Clara has spent her life trying to understand the strange dreams that have plagued her since she was a child. Visions of dragons and a world with no written record. Rejected by her royal bloodline after her mother's death, Clara hides her chilling secret, knowing her rare magic could get her killed. But when a dragon suddenly appears in Dothic, those dreams become a monstrous reality. Sarkin Diragzar, king of the Sarothian Horde, cares only about finding heartstones, the dwindling power source for their revered dragons. Ice cold and merciless, the last thing Sarkin wants is a wife, especially a weak and unwanted princess who likely won't last one night on Dragonback. Yet the key to acquiring heartstones lies in Clara's visions, and so he gives her a cruel choice. Marry him to save her people, or let Dothic burn. Her first duty as queen, claim a dragon of her own. What's even more alarming is that unexpected desire begins to simmer with her beguiling but guarded husband, even though his barbed cage of a heart is only meant to keep her away. I absolutely love the Horde Kings of Dakar series, so really excited to read this, which is still part of that world but a new take on the story, so really looking forward to that. And one that I really want to get to in December is Entreat Me by Grace Draven. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it's one of the main reasons I want to read this because Beauty and the Beast is my absolute favourite tale of all time, and so I always love it when I get to read a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and this one comes really highly rated. In fact, this particular copy is an annotated copy from Jen from the Book Refuge, so I'll be really excited to read this and also read her comments as I go through the story as well. And in terms of the blurb, it says, afflicted by a centuries-old curse, a warlord slowly surrenders his humanity and descends towards madness. Ballad of Cate Tor holds no hope of escaping his fate until his son returns home one day, accompanied by a woman of incomparable beauty. His family believes her arrival may herald Ballad's salvation until they confront her older sister. Determined to rescue her sibling from ruin, Louvain Duenda pursues her to a decrepit castle and discovers a household imprisoned in time. Dark magic, threatening sorcerers, and a malevolent climbing rose with a thirst for blood won't deter her, but a proud man disfigured by an undying hatred might. Louvain must decide if loving him will ultimately save him or destroy him. A tale of vengeance and devotion. So yeah, this has been on my TBR for a while, and I finally feel it's time for me to pick this one up. I think it's a perfect winter read as well. And then two more that I've had on my TBR for a while. I think it's finally time to get to these, and we'll see how we get on. I may be opening a massive can of worms for myself here, but I wanted to read a book by Penelope Douglas for a long time. I really like dark romances, so I am going to start with Corrupt, which is book 1 in the Devil's Night series. Again, this is a fairly older read, so I'm sure some of you have already read this one. Let me know what you thought of it, but I am going to attempt to get to this one in the month of December. The blurb on this one says, Erica, I was told that dreams were only our heart's desire. My nightmares, however, became my obsession. His name is Michael Christ. My boyfriend's older brother is like that scary movie that you peek through your hands to watch. He is handsome, strong and completely terrifying. The star of his colleagues' basketball team and now gone pro. He's more concerned with the dirt on his shoe than me, but I noticed him, I saw him, I heard him, the things that he did and the deeds that he hid. For years I bit my nails, unable to look away. Now I've graduated high school and moved on to college, but I haven't stopped watching Michael. He's bad, and the dirt I've seen isn't content to stay in my head anymore. Because he's finally noticed me. Michael, her name is Erica Fane, but everyone calls her Rika. My brother's girlfriend grew up hanging around my house and is always at our dinner table. She looks down when I enter a room and stills when I am close. I can always feel her fear rolling off of her, and while I haven't had her body, I know that I have her mind. That's all I really want anyway. Until my brother leaves for the military and I find Rika alone at college in my city, unprotected. The opportunity is too good to be true, as well as the timing, because you see, 3 years ago she put a few of my high school friends in prison and now they're out. We've waited, we've been patient, and now every last one of her nightmares will come true. So, like I said, I've heard really good things about this and I really want to get to it. So I am going to try and get to it before the end of the year. And in a similar vein, one that I've heard loads about, and I feel like this author is definitely one that I need to read, that is The Ritual by Shantel Tessier, and this is book 1 in the Lords series. This one, again, is another dark romance, and it says The Chosen One. I vow, you vow, we vow, Barrington University is home of the Lords, a secret society that requires their blood in payment. They are above all the most powerful men in the world. They devote their lives to violence in exchange for power, and during their senior year they are offered a chosen one. People think growing up with money is freeing, but I promise you it's not. My entire life has been planned out for me. I never got the chance to do what I wanted until Riot Alexander Archer came along and gave me an option for a better life. He offered me what no one else ever had, freedom, and I chose to be his. He made me believe that anyway, but it was just another lie, a way that the Lords manipulate you into doing what they want. After being sucked into the dark, twisted world of the Lords, I embraced my new role and allowed Riot to parade me around like the trophy I was to him. But like all things, what started out as a game soon became a fight for survival, and the only way out was death. This book can be read as a standalone, but the timeline of the Lords books is as follows, and then basically it lists out the timeline. So starting with The Ritual, again, this may be a massive can of worms because this is the start of a dark romance series, and if I like it I'll probably be sucked in right and need to carry on reading. So definitely will be interesting to see how I get on with those books in December. That is quite an ambitious target really, because I will probably only read 15 maximum, so that's already 10 that I'm committing to, and also normally I kind of finish December a little bit early because of the festive period and the new year, making sure that I can get all the books up and everything ready to go live in the new year, which may leave me a few days short to finish off some of the books that I really want to get to. So we'll see how I do. I'm going to try and get to these, and I've put these on specifically to kind of force my hand, because I felt if I didn't put them on my TBR and committed to reading them that I might kind of chicken out and read something a little bit easier to get me to the end of the year. Of course, I'm also hoping to throw in a couple of Christmas romances as well, but again we'll see how well I do. But I'm dangerously close to actually not meeting my reading goals for the year, which was 180 books, 15 books a month. I have fallen short a couple of months in the last few months, and so I am reading as much as I possibly can to try and catch up. I'm currently sitting about 2.5 books ahead for this month, but I have got a work trip next week which is going to slow me down again a little bit. So I'm going to go hell for leather trying to make sure that I finish 180 books before the end of the year, and it may mean I need to squeeze in a few shorter books in order to get me over the line. So we'll see how we go, but keep a watch out for obviously my reading wrap up for November, see how many I manage to get through in November, and then obviously I'll do everything I can to meet my quota for the month of December as well. So before I sign off, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has recommended a book to me, who's watched a video, who's left a comment, who's completed my book recommendation form. It means the world to me, and I always really enjoy reading your recommendations. So if you haven't left me a recommendation yet, or you have before but you've got a new recommendation for me, please don't hesitate to put that in the comments down below or complete my recommendation form. I will be carrying on my jar and will continue to pull out new recommendations as we go through 2025. So with that said, if you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content from me. And all that's left for me to do is say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. And all that's left for me to do is thank you. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content. And then we'll continue to pull out books each month through the month of 2020. But we're dangerously close to me not quite meeting my month. But we're dangerously close to me not meeting my year. Afflicted by a centuries-old curse, a warlord slowly surrenders his my magnificent. Before I saw his face or heard his voice or